Okay, but for real, where do I even begin with this one? I mean, just wow. Another year on this green earth and just being able to do the things that I enjoy is just something else. But every single time it comes to my birthday lately, I just can't help but feel like I do not know what to do on this day, and I just don't know what to say, but I figured I'd at least make a little video to commemorate the day before and just talk to you all about how I've been feeling about stuff lately because you all know me. There's always something on the back burner that I've yet to fully share because I am just so bad at editing. It's not even. But for real, hey, just like wow, the fact that I've been alive for 26 years, going on 27, maybe technically 28 when you consider that we were actually 0 years old when we start off, I guess. I don't know. I'm not trying to be philosophical here. I'm just saying that to have been alive for this long is kind of sort of a privilege because sometimes when I think of the number 27, I can't help but look back at how some successful people only got to live up to that long, that many years old. And it's a shame because when you think about it, some of those people really didn't deserve to leave us. I think one of the most modern examples being Amy Winehouse, a very incredible singer and someone whose voice feels as recognizable to me as any time I would hear her and the late Tony Bennett doing that duo Body and Soul. Like, we still have that Grammys CD when that was nominated at the time, and it's one of the many tracks on there. And when I just think of how it's a damn shame that we never truly got to see more of what she could do. I also sort of take that into account for many, many things. Like, sometimes, as much as it sucks to say it, life is unfair. And yet, it's counting the blessings that we do have to be thankful for that really gives me the drive to continue on because, man, this year has already proven to have quite a few good sides for me, at least, but a few downsides for the world, and that's putting it lightly. I will say that what recently shook me the most, though, was, of course, the passing of my personal hero, the creator of Dragon Ball, Dr. Slump, Sandland, and one of many people that worked on some just fantastic and iconic video games. Akira Toriyama, one of the biggest names out there in terms of video game artists and mangaka, but a man who put his time and effort into work that not only transcended the world of manga for Japanese audiences, but manga worldwide. I mean, think about it. Akira Toriyama recently passed away at 68 years old on March 1st, and several world governments acknowledged this in a time of mourning, in a statement of sorrow. I mean, China's government mentioned it. We had one of the Spanish speaking countries' governments make a statement of it that was also posted on social media. It says something when somebody's work becomes so iconic that it is so hard for people around the world not to recognize its most iconic character, Son Goku. It's it says volumes about what Akira Toriyama was able to accomplish and how it changed the zeitgeist of media and pop culture. It just comes to show that if it wasn't for his achievements, So many other series that people enjoy out there probably would not exist. It's crazy to say that, but it's true. Or at the very least, it wouldn't have the same impact as it does to this day. Which, at this rate, I would say the one other worldly recognized media of the here and now would have to be One Piece. And Ichiro Oda was one to make a statement expressing his thoughts about Toriyama's impact on him and how he too feels about the loss of such a tremendous figure when it comes down to just, being a huge inspiration. Now, the reason I'm talking about this instead of myself is because, well, he just meant that much to me. And while, unlike other celebrities that I wish I had met in my lifetime while they were still alive, as compared to that, I know for a fact Toriyama treasured his privacy. He never was always a fan of the public limelight, and I accepted that. I was totally aware of the fact that there was not a ghost of a chance that I would be able to meet him. The only time he ever was known to have come to the US was for a convention in New York that celebrated the launch of Shonen Jump here in the States. And that was in 2002. Which, yes, I was probably watching the original Dragon Ball at that time, but I would not have been aware of what Shonen Jump was. I certainly wouldn't have hit me, because that's just not how I was aware of things at the time. And had I known, oh boy, you would have bet that I sure would have begged my parents to let me go. But that's not what happened, and I'm accepting of that because you know what? I understand how he is. The thing is, it's so easy to get caught up in wanting to do what you love for other people to enjoy. Sometimes you become a little bit forgetful about yourself and what you yourself truly wish to do. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I feel like for the many years that I've taken up speedrunning as a hobby, I've also unintentionally made it the focus of a lot of things that I've done, which is good in one sense, but bad on the other. Because there is a personal project that I've been meaning to complete for years and had to put on hold because I was just so discouraged by the struggles of it, and that once I had at least gotten it into a submittable state for my college, that I thought that was enough for now and I will retackle it later on. But truth is, I feel guilty for not putting in a little bit more legwork into it. And I mean, one of these days I will talk a bit more about it because I feel like there's no harm in sharing what I wanted to do at some point or another. And so I guess I feel like that's the same thing going with all of these videos that I have recorded in the time since, and haven't really been giving myself the drive to put together to show you all. Because I feel like I'm just robbing myself of the chance to record more and also pursue more speed runs, because me personally, I feel like the more I've gotten to achieve through speedrunning, it feels like the more connections I'm making. And I guess at the end of the day, that's not the worst thing, but I get the feeling like I might have let a few people down when it comes to the content that I have put out there and still get to watch to this day, because guess what? On Leap Day of this year, I'd received a comment from somebody that found my mashup of Rock the Dragon and Step into the Grand Tour, a combination of an old English dub theme of Dragon Ball Z and the English dub theme of Dragon Ball GT. And despite that being maybe the second video I ever uploaded to this channel, which, by the way, this YouTube channel is over 10 years old now, or at the very least something close to that, which is crazy. It still warms my heart to see that my older content still gets discovered by people that are curious, and they seem to like it enough that this fellow was one to comment about it, and that, like, I just quickly replied the moment I saw it and expressed my gratitude, because you know what? It means I have done something right when it comes to YouTube. And yet, I don't know. I don't know where I want to continue with all of the stuff that I have on the back burner and what to do after the fact. But I will say this much. This year, I feel like while it has gotten off to a bit of a strange start, at the very least, January was a huge highlight of 2024 for me as a speedrunner and somebody that has gotten to know many a name across the many communities of different video games or just speedrunning in general. As I got to go to Awesome Games Done Quick in person for the first time ever. And you better believe that it was like a dream come true. But even before that, I got to go to Sweden and met quite a number of speedrunner friends as well. So it wasn't the first time that I've been to a major event in person, but Games Done Quick, you better believe, was a huge milestone for me and then some. I just was beyond the moon with what I was able to accomplish for how long I have stayed there, and I feel like there is this just crown jewel of the stay that sadly I don't think I have near me right now, but you know what? That's perfectly fine. I'll show it off one of these days, but there's just this one thing that I brought with me that I used as a sort of way to interact with a bunch of people later down the line of that week, and it became probably one of my prized possession keepsakes of GDQ, like, period. I don't even know how else to say it. It's just crazy how it feels like one book alone that I took with me and just had people sign it. It was like I it was like an I was here moment, if you will. So that and having the pleasure and honor of joining my friend Elrock617 on the main stage to commentate his one critic clear Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade run, I felt like I did quite a bit. And you know what? It's what especially makes me grateful of just some of the things that I was able to do at 26 years old, which is why I think the theme of today's little talk from my mind and my heart is I look forward to seeing what I can try to accomplish at 27, because there is still quite a few things that I want to do while I am still alive, and I expect to be alive for quite a long while, mind you, but I think I'd rather try to get them done sooner than later because it just makes sense. But for now, I think overall I'm grateful for the many connections that I've made inside and outside of the speedrunning communities. I am especially grateful for some wonderful people that I have met through things like conventions or other events that I have been to. And of course, I'm always grateful for the names that I have known through previous communities that I have been active through in the many, many years that I guess started on the whole from when I started high school and sort of picked up from there, if you will. Like, if you happen to follow me back during my DeviantArt days, when I was actually active with my art, then you know who you are, and you better believe that I am grateful for your time, attention, and of course, your friendship, because there's still a decent few people out there that I try to talk with from those times, and I still see people from those days giving some of my posts through some of my social medias some likes, and I always can't help but smile when I see those names. So there's just a lot of things that I wish I could go back to, and yet with this year it feels like I have to start taking something of a more straightforward direction. The truth is, I have started working two part-time jobs, and one has felt a lot more professional than the one I have been doing and still am doing for 2 years. But at the same time, the other job that I'm still doing, it's not a bad routine. We'll put it that way. It's had me realize that when you get to this point in your life, you got to find something to work for. And in a way, that helped me figure that out a little bit as I had been using the time that I got from it to simply earn money and, well, try to build experience in some way, shape, or form. So it's going to feel a little bittersweet when I eventually call it quits there. I'm not sure when that'll be, but I know that trying to work two jobs can feel a little bit silly in some cases. Luckily, that's not the case right now. And my newer job is more than understanding of my other positions, so hey, it seems like I'm in the good stuff. It seems like things are looking quite all right for the most part. I wouldn't say life is perfect, but I'm managing, and I hope you all are finding a way to manage things yourselves as well. I feel like the one thing that we got to look forward to is the possibilities of what could come next. Because, hey, sometimes it hurts to look back at the past and think about what you haven't done yet. At the same time, it can be a pretty powerful motivator. And that's why I'm making sure that I will pursue some of my creative passions throughout 2024, or at least try to. Now, in terms of YouTube, of course, I will continue to try and do content. I will try to upload stuff that has been sitting in reserve. And, of course, there is also the possibility of live streaming because the wonderful thing about Twitch nowadays is that thanks to its current CEO, it is possible to simulcast with any streaming website, and that is a godsend. So thank you, Dan Clancy. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving us the opportunity to just not have to worry about how we stream. And I feel like it's with that in mind that simulcast streaming is definitely in the works. It will happen eventually, but for now, I think what matters more is trying to get my personal life a little more sorted out while still being able to do events and other things that I very much enjoy. Until then, thank you for anybody that's thought to subscribe to my channel. I'm sorry I still haven't put a lot of stuff up in recent, but once I find a bit of a better rhythm when it comes to both trying to edit stuff and, do stuff in general, then maybe, just maybe, this YouTube channel will start to see a similar glory as to the days when I actually was trying to pump out stuff as quickly as time and energy permitted me. But thank you for being here for the long run if you have been. And if you are just finding me now, thank you all the same. It's people like you guys just taking the time to check out my stuff that, again, means more than enough to me and makes me feel like I'm doing something right here. For now, I'm just going to end this off by saying that, growing up and having your own set of personal challenges, sometimes it makes us think a little poorly of the world. I'm just glad that I had enough support in my life from my own family that I think my ever so often optimism is just a result of that, and I certainly hope I can share it with some of you all one of these days, if nothing else. So, as we close upon the end of March 11th, I say thank you all for being with me. And as I start fresh with, I guess, gaining enough experience points to level up, I guess if you want me to use the video game terminology. Nah, let's try that again. just thank you all for being here. And I guess happy birthday to me. It'll be interesting starting another year of my life. And, well, I'm grateful to share that day with quite a few other people. 26 was pretty cool. But, I think I'm ready to say goodbye and move on to the next level.